question. To ask for information. Example, she questioned him about that night. Request. To ask for something politely. Example, he requested a window seat. Beg. To plead desperately. Example, she begged him not to leave. Implore. To beg with great emotion. Example, he implored the judge for mercy. Cross-examine. To question aggressively to find flaws. Example, the lawyer cross-examined her for an hour. Grill. To question someone intensely. Example, detectives grilled him about his alibi. Interrogate. To question formally and persistently. Example, police interrogated the suspect all night. Pump. To question to extract information. Example, she pumped her friend for gossip. Quiz. To test or question sharply. Example, he quizzed her on every detail. Ambush. To attack from a hidden position. Example, the soldiers ambushed the convoy at dawn. Blitz. To attack with overwhelming speed. Example, the team blitzed the quarterback repeatedly. Bombard. To overwhelm with many things at once. Example, reporters bombarded her with questions. Assail. To attack fiercely or verbally. Example, critics assailed the policy from all sides. Assault. To attack someone physically. Example, he was arrested for assaulting a bystander. Besiege. To surround and pressure someone. Example, fans besieged the star outside the hotel. Invade. To enter by force and take over. Example, the army invaded at midnight. Charge. To rush at someone with force. Example, the bull charged the red cape. Rush. To move or act with great speed. Example, she rushed to catch the last train. Storm. To attack or enter with great force. Example, police stormed the building. Angle. To position at a slant. Example, he angled the lamp toward his book. Arc. To move in a curved path. Example, the ball arced over the fence. Arch. To curve upward. Example, the cat arched its back in alarm. Buckle. To bend under pressure. Example, the bridge buckled under the weight. Coil. To wind into a spiral. Example, the snake coiled around the branch. Crook. To bend at an angle. Example, she crooked her finger to call him over. Curl. To form into a curved shape. Example, the paper curled at the edges from heat. Curve. To bend smoothly in one direction. Example, the road curved sharply to the left. Flex. To bend a muscle or joint. Example, he flexed his fingers before typing. Warp. To bend out of shape permanently. Example, the wood warped from too much moisture. Bow. To bend forward as a sign of respect. Example, the actor bowed deeply to the audience. Crouch. To lower the body by bending the knees. Example, she crouched behind the wall to hide. Curtsy. To bow with bent knees. Example, the girl curtsied before the queen. Hunch. To bend forward with rounded shoulders. Example, he hunched over his desk all day. Kneel. To rest on one or both knees. Example, she knelt beside the injured dog. Stoop. To bend the head and shoulders forward. Example, he stooped to pick up the dropped key. Nibble. To eat in small, delicate bites. Example, she nibbled at a corner of the cracker. Chew. To grind food with the teeth. Example, he chewed slowly, savoring every bite. Gnash. To grind the teeth together in anger. Example, she gnashed her teeth in frustration. Gnaw. To bite or chew persistently. Example, the dog gnawed on the bone for hours. Munch. To chew steadily and audibly. Example, he munched on popcorn during the movie. Chomp. To bite down hard and noisily. Example, she chomped into the apple. Crunch. To crush noisily while chewing. Example, he crunched the last of the chips. Nip. To bite quickly and sharply. Example, the dog nipped at her heels. Annoy. To irritate or bother slightly. Example, the buzzing noise annoyed everyone. Bug. To irritate or bother someone. Example, stop bugging me while I'm working. Irk. To annoy or irritate. Example, his constant lateness irked his teammates. Irritate. To make someone slightly angry. Example, the scratchy fabric irritated her skin. Miff. To offend or upset slightly. Example, her offhand comment miffed him. Nettle. To annoy or provoke. Example, his smug tone nettled her. Aggravate. To make worse or more intense. Example, stress aggravated his back pain. Chafe. To irritate by rubbing or annoy persistently. Example, the endless delays chafed the whole team. Harass. To bother persistently and aggressively. Example, he was fired for harassing colleagues. Peeve. To make slightly irritated. Example, the slow service peeved the diners. Perturb. To disturb or unsettle someone. Example, the strange news perturbed her greatly. Pester. To annoy repeatedly with requests. Example, the child pestered his mother for candy. Rile. To make angry or irritated. Example, his dismissive tone riled the whole team. Ruffle. To disturb someone's calm. Example, the criticism ruffled his pride. Exasperate. To greatly irritate and frustrate. Example, her endless excuses exasperated the teacher. Madden. To drive someone to intense anger. Example, the injustice maddened the crowd. Plague. To cause continual trouble or distress. Example, injuries plagued the team all season. Vex. To annoy or worry persistently. Example, the problem vexed scientists for years. Crumble. To break into small pieces. Example, the old wall crumbled at a touch. Crush. To press with force until broken. Example, she crushed the can with one hand. Granulate. To grind into small grains. Example, the machine granulates sugar into powder. Grind. To crush by rubbing together. Example, he ground the coffee beans fresh each morning. Mash. To crush into a soft mass. Example, she mashed the potatoes with butter. Powder. To reduce to fine dust. Example, he powdered the spices in a mortar. Shatter. To break suddenly into many pieces. Example, the glass shattered on the floor. Smash. To break violently into pieces. Example, he smashed the window with a bat. Crack. To break without fully separating. Example, the ice cracked under his weight. Fracture. To break a bone or hard material. Example, she fractured her wrist in the fall. Fragment. To break into many separate parts. Example, the vase fragmented on impact. Snap. To break with a sharp sound. Example, the twig snapped under her foot. Splinter. To break into sharp thin pieces. Example, the bat splintered on the first swing. Atomize. To break into the smallest possible parts. Example, the explosion atomized the structure. Cripple. To damage severely and limit function. Example, the virus crippled the city's power grid. Disintegrate. To break apart completely. Example, the meteor disintegrated in the atmosphere. Mangle. To damage badly by crushing or tearing. Example, the machinery mangled his sleeve. Pulverize. To crush into dust or powder. Example, the machine pulverizes rocks into gravel. Ruin. To destroy or spoil completely. Example, the storm ruined the harvest. Spoil. To damage or make unpleasant. Example, rain spoiled their picnic. Wreck. To destroy or damage beyond repair. Example, he wrecked the car on the highway. Burst. To break open suddenly from pressure. Example, the pipe burst in the frozen weather. Bust. To break or smash. Example, he busted the lock off the door. Obliterate. To destroy completely, leaving nothing. Example, the fire obliterated the entire block. Pop to burst suddenly with a sharp sound. Example, the balloon popped loudly. Rupture. To break open or burst. Example, the appendix ruptured during surgery. Chip. To break a small piece from the edge. Example, she chipped a tooth on the hard candy. Flake. To break off in thin flat pieces. Example, the old paint flaked from the wall. Peel. To strip off an outer layer. Example, he peeled the orange in one long strip. Scale. To remove scales or layers. Example, she scaled the fish before cooking it. Shed. To drop or cast off naturally. Example, the snake shed its skin. Flatten. To make completely flat. Example, the tornado flattened every house in its path. Level. To knock down to the ground. Example, bulldozers leveled the old factory. Deface. To damage the surface or appearance of. Example, vandals defaced the statue with spray paint. Vandalize. To deliberately damage property. Example, someone vandalized the park benches overnight. Gasp. To inhale sharply from shock or effort. Example, she gasped when she saw the bill. Heave. To breathe with great effort. Example, he heaved a long sigh of relief. Rasp. To breathe with a rough, harsh sound. Example, he rasped painfully after the long run. Suck. To draw in air with effort. Example, she sucked in a sharp breath of cold air. Wheeze. To breathe with a whistling sound. Example, the old engine wheezed as it started. Huff. To breathe out loudly in annoyance. Example, she huffed and crossed her arms. Sniff. To draw air in through the nose. Example, he sniffed back tears at the funeral. Snort. To exhale forcefully through the nose. Example, she snorted with disbelief at his excuse. Blow. To send out a stream of air. Example, he blew out all the candles at once. Puff. To breathe in short bursts. Example, he puffed after climbing the stairs. Asphyxiate. To suffocate from lack of oxygen. Example, the fumes nearly asphyxiated the workers. Choke. To block the airway. Example, she choked on a piece of bread. Smother. To suffocate by blocking air. Example, smoke smothered any chance of escape. Suffocate. To die from lack of air. Example, he nearly suffocated inside the sealed room. Heft. To lift and gauge the weight of. Example, she hefted the backpack and groaned. Lug. To carry something heavy with difficulty. Example, he lugged the suitcase up 4 flights. Schlep. To carry something cumbersome. Example, she schlepped groceries 6 blocks in the rain. Drag. To pull something heavy along the ground. Example, they dragged the fallen tree off the road. Haul. To pull or carry with effort. Example, workers hauled equipment up the steep path. Tow. To pull a vehicle or vessel. Example, the truck towed the car to the garage. Trawl. To pull a net through water, to search. Example, they trawled the lake for evidence. Cart. To carry something by hand or cart. Example, she carted boxes all day during the move. Tote. To carry something by hand. Example, he toted a heavy bag across campus. Adjust. To make a small change for improvement. Example, she adjusted the mirror before driving. Alter. To change something slightly. Example, they altered the plan at the last minute. Amend. To change or correct something. Example, she amended her statement to the police. Deviate. To move away from a standard or plan. Example, he deviated from the script unexpectedly. Diverge. To separate into different directions. Example, their opinions diverged on the key issue. Tweak. To adjust by making small changes. Example, she tweaked the recipe until it was perfect. Reshape. To give a new form to something. Example, the crisis reshaped the entire industry. Transform. To change completely in form or nature. Example, the renovation transformed the old building. Modify. To make changes to improve something. Example, they modified the design after testing. Refine. To improve by removing flaws. Example, she refined her argument before presenting it. Revise. To change and improve after review. Example, he revised the essay 3 times. Customize. To modify for individual needs. Example, she customized the software for her workflow. Tailor. To adapt specifically to someone's needs. Example, he tailored the speech for each audience. Slam. To shut with great force and noise. Example, she slammed the door on her way out. Bar. To block entry with a barrier. Example, he barred the door with a heavy plank. Bolt. To lock with a bolt. Example, she bolted the door and turned off the lights. Fasten. To attach or secure firmly. Example, he fastened his seatbelt before takeoff. Lock. To secure with a lock. Example, she locked the safe before leaving. Seal. To close tightly so nothing passes. Example, he sealed the envelope and mailed it. Secure. To make safe or firmly fixed. Example, workers secured the scaffolding overnight. Shutter. To close with shutters. Example, they shuttered the shop during the storm. Muddle. To confuse or mix up slightly. Example, his directions muddled everyone. Puzzle. To confuse or perplex. Example, the missing clue puzzled the detective. Jumble. To mix up in a disordered way. Example, the files were jumbled in the wrong order. Perplex. To confuse completely. Example, her strange behavior perplexed her friends. Stump. To puzzle someone completely. Example, the final question stumped even the experts. Baffle. To confuse utterly. Example, the magician's trick baffled the crowd. Bewilder. To cause complete confusion. Example, the complicated form bewildered him. Confound. To confuse and astonish. Example, the results confounded the researchers. Mystify. To puzzle or confuse completely. Example, her disappearance mystified investigators. Bamboozle. To trick or deceive cleverly. Example, he bamboozled them into signing the contract. Dupe. To trick or deceive someone. Example, she was duped into giving away her savings. Hoodwink. To deceive by trickery. Example, the scammer hoodwinked dozens of victims. Snooker. To trick into a difficult situation. Example, she was snookered by his clever argument. Mask. To cover or hide partially. Example, trees masked the view of the highway. Screen. To conceal or protect from view. Example, hedges screened the garden from the road. Shield. To protect by covering. Example, she shielded her eyes from the sun. Shroud. To cover and hide from view. Example, fog shrouded the valley at dawn. Veil. To cover or conceal partially. Example, she veiled her disappointment with a smile. Cloak. To hide completely. Example, darkness cloaked the intruder's movements. Conceal. To hide something from view. Example, he concealed the letter under the mattress. Eclipse. To block or overshadow completely. Example, her performance eclipsed everyone else. Mope. To sulk sadly without purpose. Example, he moped around the house all weekend. Pout. To show displeasure by pushing out the lips. Example, she pouted when she didn't get her way. Sulk. To be silently moody and withdrawn. Example, he sulked in his room after losing. Choke up. To become too emotional to speak. Example, she choked up when accepting the award. Fuss. To cry or complain in a fretful way. Example, the baby fussed all through the night. Sniffle. To cry quietly with soft sniffing sounds. Example, she sniffled through the sad movie. Snivel. To cry weakly and complainingly. Example, he sniveled instead of facing the problem. Whimper. To make soft feeble crying sounds. Example, the puppy whimpered by the closed door. Whine. To cry or complain in a high tone. Example, he whined about every small inconvenience. Bawl. To cry loudly and without restraint. Example, the child bawled in the middle of the store. Blubber. To cry noisily and messily. Example, he blubbered throughout the entire ceremony. Boo-hoo. To cry loudly and dramatically. Example, she boo-hooed at every minor disappointment. Break down. To collapse into uncontrolled crying. Example, he broke down during the eulogy. Lament. To express grief or sorrow loudly. Example, she lamented the loss of her childhood home. Moan. To make a low sound of pain or grief. Example, he moaned in pain all through the night. Sob. To cry with convulsive gasps. Example, she sobbed into her pillow for hours. Squall. To cry loudly and piercingly. Example, the newborn squalled until fed. Wail. To cry loudly in grief or pain. Example, she wailed when she heard the news. Weep. To cry with tears flowing. Example, he wept quietly at his father's graveside. Bemoan. To express deep regret or sorrow. Example, she bemoaned the loss of the old neighborhood. Bewail. To mourn or lament deeply. Example, he bewailed his foolish decision for years. Grieve. To feel intense sorrow after a loss. Example, she grieved for months after his death. Mourn. To feel sadness over a loss. Example, the town mourned the loss of its oldest resident. Pine for. To suffer from longing for something. Example, he pined for his homeland every day. Clip. To cut with short, sharp strokes. Example, she clipped the article from the newspaper. Incise. To cut cleanly into a surface. Example, the surgeon incised the skin carefully. Lacerate. To tear flesh in a jagged way. Example, the broken glass lacerated his palm. Nick. To make a small cut. Example, he nicked his chin while shaving. Scour. To clean by rubbing hard. Example, she scoured the pot until it shone. Slit. To cut a long narrow opening. Example, he slit the envelope open with a knife. Snip. To cut with small quick strokes. Example, she snipped the thread with scissors. Trim. To cut to neaten or reduce size. Example, he trimmed the hedge into a neat shape. Chop. To cut with heavy repeated blows. Example, she chopped the wood into small pieces. Dice. To cut into small cubes. Example, he diced the onion finely. Divide. To cut or separate into parts. Example, she divided the cake into 8 slices. Have. To cut into 2 equal parts. Example, he halved the apple and gave her a piece. Mince. To cut into very tiny pieces. Example, she minced the garlic before adding it. Quarter. To cut into 4 equal parts. Example, he quartered the orange for the children. Shred. To tear or cut into thin strips. Example, she shredded old documents for security. Slice. To cut cleanly with a single motion. Example, he sliced the bread with a sharp knife. Split. To divide by cutting lengthwise. Example, she split the log in 1 stroke. Crop. To cut to a smaller size. Example, he cropped the photo to remove the background. Mow. To cut grass with a machine. Example, she mowed the lawn every Saturday morning. Pare down. To cut away the outer layer or reduce. Example, he pared down the budget to essentials. Prune. To cut away dead branches. Example, she pruned the roses in early spring. Shave. To cut a thin layer from a surface. Example, he shaved the rough edges of the wood. Shear. To cut through with blades. Example, workers sheared the sheep every spring. Carve. To cut into a shape or pattern. Example, he carved a duck from a block of wood. Cleave. To split with a heavy blow. Example, she cleaved the log cleanly in 2. Gash. To make a long deep cut. Example, he gashed his hand on the broken fence. Hack. To cut roughly with heavy blows. Example, she hacked through the undergrowth. Lop. To cut off branches or limbs. Example, he lopped the dead branches from the oak. Sever. To cut completely apart. Example, the accident severed the cable. Slash. To cut with a sweeping stroke. Example, he slashed through the overgrown path. Exhume. To dig up a buried body. Example, they exhumed the body for a new investigation. Mine. To dig for minerals or resources. Example, workers mined the mountain for copper. Unearth. To dig up or discover hidden things. Example, archaeologists unearthed ancient pottery. Burrow. To dig a tunnel or hole. Example, the rabbit burrowed under the fence. Delve. To search deeply into something. Example, she delved into the archives for hours. Drill. To bore a hole with a rotating tool. Example, workers drilled through the concrete wall. Tunnel. To dig or move through a tunnel. Example, miners tunneled under the river. Disembowel. To remove the internal organs. Example, the hunter disemboweled the deer. Dredge. To scoop material from underwater. Example, workers dredged the harbor to clear it. Gouge. To scoop out or dig roughly. Example, he gouged a hole in the wall. Gut. To remove the inside of something. Example, fire gutted the old warehouse. Hollow out. To remove the inside, creating a space. Example, she hollowed out the pumpkin for Halloween. Scoop. To lift or remove with a scooping motion. Example, he scooped the ice cream into a bowl. Hoe. To break up soil with a hoe. Example, she hoed the garden beds in the morning. Sift. To pass through a sieve to separate. Example, he sifted the flour before mixing. Till. To prepare soil for growing crops. Example, farmers tilled the fields before planting. Flinch. To draw back quickly from pain or shock. Example, she flinched when the balloon popped. Recoil. To spring back suddenly. Example, he recoiled in disgust from the smell. Cower. To crouch in fear. Example, the dog cowered under the table during the storm. Cringe. To shrink back in fear or embarrassment. Example, he cringed at his old diary entries. Shrink. To draw back from fear or disgust. Example, she shrank from his angry glare. Wince. To flinch from pain or discomfort. Example, he winced when the nurse gave the injection. Sip. To drink in small, careful amounts. Example, she sipped her tea by the window. Slurp. To drink noisily. Example, he slurped the last of his milkshake. Drain. To drink completely. Example, he drained the glass in one long gulp. Guzzle. To drink greedily and quickly. Example, she guzzled water after the long run. Knock back. To drink quickly in one motion. Example, he knocked back the shot and grimaced. Swill. To drink in large careless gulps. Example, they swillied cheap beer all evening. Chow down. To eat eagerly and enthusiastically. Example, the hikers chowed down after the long trail. Cram. To stuff food in quickly. Example, he crammed a handful of chips in his mouth. Gobble. To eat fast and greedily. Example, she gobbled her lunch in 3 minutes. Gorge. To eat to excess. Example, they gorged on pizza after the game. Gulp. To swallow hastily in large amounts. Example, he gulped down breakfast and ran out. Nosh. To snack or eat informally. Example, she noshed on almonds throughout the day. Polish off. To finish all of something quickly. Example, he polished off the entire plate. Wolf. To eat very quickly and greedily. Example, she wolfed her meal before the break ended. Feast. To eat a large celebratory meal. Example, they feasted on roast lamb all evening. Overindulge. To eat or drink far too much. Example, she overindulged at the buffet and regretted it. Snack. To eat a small amount between meals. Example, he snacked on fruit throughout the afternoon. Taste. To try a small amount of food. Example, she tasted every dish before deciding. Dine. To eat a formal or main meal. Example, they dined at an elegant restaurant. Lunch. To eat the midday meal. Example, she lunched with a client downtown. Sup. To eat supper. Example, they supped by candlelight. Choke down. To swallow with great difficulty. Example, he choked down the bitter medicine. Peck at. To eat very little without appetite. Example, she only pecked at her dinner that night. Pick at. To eat reluctantly in tiny bites. Example, he picked at the food without interest. Bundle. To wrap up together in cloth or fabric. Example, she bundled the baby in a warm blanket. Swaddle. To wrap snugly in cloth. Example, the nurse swaddled the newborn tightly. Swathe. To wrap or bind in strips. Example, he swathed his injured arm in bandages. Wrap. To cover by winding material around. Example, she wrapped the gift in bright red paper. Confine. To keep within limits or a space. Example, they confined the puppy to the kitchen. Encircle. To form a circle around something. Example, mountains encircled a small valley. Encompass. To surround and include completely. Example, the park encompasses over 1,000 acres. Envelop. To wrap or surround completely. Example, fog enveloped the city by morning. Hem in. To surround and restrict movement. Example, police hemmed in the protesters. Ring. To form a circle around. Example, trees ring the quiet pond. Cuddle. To hold close in a loving way. Example, the child cuddled the stuffed bear. Nestle. To settle comfortably close to someone. Example, she nestled into the armchair with a book. Snuggle. To press closely for warmth or comfort. Example, the kittens snuggled together for warmth. Cascade. To fall rapidly in a flowing stream. Example, water cascaded down the rocky cliff. Descend. To move downward. Example, she descended the stairs carefully. Plummet. To fall steeply and rapidly. Example, stock prices plummeted after the news. Plunge. To fall or dive suddenly. Example, he plunged into the icy water. Overturn. To tip over or reverse. Example, the truck overturned on the icy road. Unseat. To knock from a seat or position. Example, the challenger unseated the champion. Belly flop. To fall flat onto the stomach. Example, he belly flopped into the pool. Drop. To fall or let fall suddenly. Example, she dropped the phone on the floor. Flop. To fall heavily and loosely. Example, he flopped onto the couch exhausted. Keel. To fall over suddenly. Example, she almost keeled over in the heat. Swoon. To faint or nearly faint. Example, she swooned at the sight of him. Pitch. To fall forward suddenly. Example, he pitched forward on the icy step. Topple. To fall over unsteadily. Example, the vase toppled off the shelf. Totter. To walk or stand unsteadily. Example, the toddler tottered across the room. Tumble. To fall suddenly and awkwardly. Example, he tumbled down the grassy hill. Argue. To dispute verbally. Example, they argued about money for an hour. Bicker. To argue over small things. Example, the siblings bickered all through dinner. Clash. To come into conflict. Example, the two personalities clashed immediately. Nitpick. To criticize tiny unimportant details. Example, he nitpicked every line of her report. Quarrel. To have an angry argument. Example, the neighbors quarreled over the fence. Quibble. To argue over minor points. Example, stop quibbling and make a decision. Squabble. To argue noisily over trivial things. Example, the children squabbled over the remote. Brawl. To fight noisily in a rough way. Example, they brawled outside the bar. Grapple. To struggle in close contact. Example, he grappled with his attacker on the ground. Scuffle. To fight in a rough, confused way. Example, security scuffled with the protester. Skirmish. To fight briefly at the edges. Example, the patrol skirmished near the border. Struggle. To fight or work with great effort. Example, she struggled to open the stuck window. Tussle. To fight or compete energetically. Example, the two men tussled for the ball. Wrangle. To argue noisily and at length. Example, lawyers wrangled over the contract terms. Wrestle. To fight by grappling with the body. Example, he wrestled his opponent to the mat. Clog. To block a passage completely. Example, grease clogged the kitchen drain. Congest. To fill so movement is difficult. Example, traffic congested the highway for miles. Crowd. To fill a space too full. Example, fans crowded the entrance. Load. To put cargo into a vehicle. Example, workers loaded boxes onto the truck. Pack. To fill tightly. Example, she packed her suitcase the night before. Stuff. To fill by cramming tightly. Example, he stuffed his pockets with snacks. Doctor. To repair or treat informally. Example, she doctored the old chair with wood glue. Mend. To repair something that is broken. Example, he mended the fence after the storm. Patch. To repair with a piece of material. Example, she patched the hole in his jeans. Remedy. To fix or solve a problem. Example, he remedied the error before printing. Repair. To fix something that is damaged. Example, they repaired the roof before winter. Restore. To return to original condition. Example, the team restored the old painting. Glide. To move smoothly without effort. Example, the swan glided across the still lake. Soar. To fly high with little effort. Example, the eagle soared above the canyon. Float. To remain suspended in air or water. Example, the balloon floated gently upward. Wing. To fly or travel swiftly through air. Example, the bird winged across the open sky. Hover. To remain suspended in one spot. Example, the helicopter hovered above the rooftop. Levitate. To rise and float in the air. Example, the magician appeared to levitate off the stage. Jet. To move very fast through the air. Example, she jetted across the Atlantic overnight. Swoop. To fly down suddenly in a curve. Example, the hawk swooped and caught the mouse. Nosedive. To descend steeply headfirst. Example, the plane nosedived before the pilot recovered. Fork over. To hand over money reluctantly. Example, he finally forked over the fee. Shell out. To pay money often unwillingly. Example, she shelled out a fortune for repairs. Dispense. To give out portions to many people. Example, the machine dispensed tickets automatically. Bestow. To give as an honor or gift. Example, the king bestowed a medal on the hero. Contribute. To give to a shared cause. Example, everyone contributed to the birthday fund. Donate. To give freely for a cause. Example, she donated her old clothes to charity. Provide. To make something available to someone. Example, the shelter provides meals every night. Award. To officially give a prize or honor. Example, the judges awarded her first place. Deliver. To carry and hand over. Example, he delivered the package by noon. Present. To formally give or show. Example, she was presented with a gold trophy. Acquiesce. To accept reluctantly without protest. Example, he acquiesced after long negotiation. Cave. To give in under pressure. Example, she finally caved and agreed to the terms. Comply. To do what is required. Example, all staff must comply with the new rules. Defer. To yield to someone else's judgment. Example, she deferred to the expert's opinion. Submit. To accept authority or hand over formally. Example, he submitted his resignation by email. Yield. To give way or surrender. Example, the driver yielded at the intersection. Relent. To soften and give way. Example, she relented and let him stay. Relinquish. To give up a right or possession. Example, he relinquished his claim to the property. Resign. To give up a position. Example, she resigned from the board quietly. Surrender. To give up to an opposing force. Example, the soldiers surrendered at dawn. Affix. To attach firmly to a surface. Example, she affixed a stamp to the envelope. Drape. To hang or arrange loosely. Example, she draped a shawl over the chair. Pin. To attach with a pin or hold in place. Example, he pinned the notice to the board. Dangle. To hang loosely and swing. Example, keys dangled from her belt loop. Suspend. To hang from a fixed point. Example, lights were suspended from the ceiling. Bump. To hit accidentally. Example, he bumped his head on the low doorframe. Collide. To crash into each other. Example, two cars collided at the intersection. Crash. To hit with great force and noise. Example, the truck crashed into the barrier. Cuff. To hit lightly with an open hand. Example, she cuffed him playfully on the shoulder. Slap. To strike with an open hand. Example, she slapped the mosquito on her arm. Smack. To strike sharply with an open hand. Example, he smacked the table in frustration. Spank. To slap as punishment. Example, she spanked his hand away from the stove. Bat. To hit lightly with a swinging motion. Example, she batted the balloon across the room. Bop. To hit gently on the head. Example, she bopped him on the head with a pillow. Rap. To strike sharply with knuckles. Example, he rapped on the door 3 times. Swat. To hit with a flat sweeping blow. Example, she swatted the fly with a newspaper. Tag. To touch lightly in passing. Example, he tagged her on the shoulder in the game. Belt. To hit hard with force. Example, he belted the ball into left field. Bludgeon. To hit repeatedly with a heavy object. Example, he was bludgeoned in the alley. Clobber. To hit hard or defeat soundly. Example, she clobbered the competition at the finals. Clout. To hit with force. Example, he clout the ball over the fence. Punch. To strike with a closed fist. Example, he punched the bag at the gym. Ram. To drive into with great force. Example, the battering ram slammed into the gate. Sideswipe. To strike on the side while passing. Example, the truck sideswiped the parked car. Slug. To hit hard with the fist. Example, he slugged the sandbag in training. Smite. To strike with great force. Example, he smote the table with his fist. Sock. To punch hard. Example, she socked him in the arm playfully. Strike. To hit with a directed blow. Example, lightning struck the tree in the yard. Tan. To beat as punishment. Example, the villain threatened to tan his hide. Thump. To hit with a dull heavy sound. Example, he thumped his fist on the table. Uppercut. To punch upward under the jaw. Example, the boxer uppercut and knocked him down. Wallop. To hit with great force. Example, she walloped the ball out of the park. Buffet. To strike repeatedly. Example, waves buffeted the small vessel all night. Pound. To hit repeatedly with force. Example, he pounded the nail into the wood. Pummel. To hit repeatedly with fists. Example, she pummeled the heavy bag in frustration. Wail on. To hit repeatedly and hard. Example, the boxer wailed on his opponent in the corner. Cane. To beat with a cane. Example, he was caned for breaking the rules. Flog. To beat repeatedly with a whip. Example, sailors were once flogged for insubordination. Lash. To strike with a whip or cord. Example, rain lashed the windows all night. Paddle. To hit with a flat board. Example, he paddled the canoe across the lake. Scourge. To whip severely or cause suffering. Example, disease scourged the population. Switch. To beat with a thin flexible stick. Example, he switched the horse to move faster. Whip. To strike with a whip or lash. Example, wind whipped her hair across her face. Torment. To cause continual suffering. Example, guilt tormented him for years. Torture. To inflict severe pain deliberately. Example, he was tortured for information. Mistreat. To treat someone badly or cruelly. Example, animals should never be mistreated. Afflict. To cause pain or suffering. Example, arthritis afflicted him in his old age. Bruise. To injure causing a discolored mark. Example, she bruised her knee in the fall. Punish. To impose a penalty for wrongdoing. Example, The court punished the fraud with prison. Throttle. To choke by squeezing the throat. Example, he grabbed and throttled the thief. Crucify. To torment or criticize harshly. Example, the press crucified the politician. Persecute. To treat cruelly over time. Example, they were persecuted for their beliefs. Strangle. To choke by squeezing the throat. Example, vines strangled the old oak tree. Corrupt. To make morally wrong or impure. Example, power corrupted the once honest official. Damage. To cause harm to something. Example, the flood damaged hundreds of homes. Destroy. To cause complete ruin. Example, the fire destroyed the entire building. Poison. To harm by introducing toxic substance. Example, the leak poisoned the groundwater. Bound. To leap forward with energy. Example, the dog bounded across the yard. Leap. To jump a long distance. Example, she leaped over the puddle. Hop. To jump on one foot or a short distance. Example, he hopped over the puddle. Skip. To move with light hops and steps. Example, she skipped along the path singing. Quail. To shrink back from fear. Example, he quailed before the angry crowd. Spring. To jump suddenly upward or forward. Example, she sprang out of bed at dawn. Start. To jump involuntarily from surprise. Example, he started at the loud bang. Clear. To jump over without touching. Example, she cleared the bar on her third attempt. Hurdle. To jump over an obstacle. Example, he hurdled the fence in one leap. Surmount. To climb over or get past a difficulty. Example, she surmounted every obstacle in her path. Vault. To jump over using hands or a pole. Example, he vaulted the turnstile. Lunge. To move forward suddenly and quickly. Example, the dog lunged at the passing car. Pounce. To jump on something suddenly. Example, the cat pounced on the toy mouse. Chuckle. To laugh quietly to oneself. Example, she chuckled at the joke. Titter. To laugh in a suppressed nervous way. Example, the audience tittered at the remark. Bellow. To shout or laugh very loudly. Example, he bellowed with laughter across the room. Chortle. To laugh with gleeful satisfaction. Example, she chortled at the punchline. Guffaw. To laugh loudly and heartily. Example, he guffawed so hard tears ran down his face. Hoot. To laugh or shout with amusement. Example, the crowd hooted with laughter. Howl. To laugh uncontrollably. Example, they howled at every joke he told. Roar. To laugh very loudly. Example, the audience roared at the comedian's act. Whoop. To shout or laugh excitedly. Example, she whooped with joy at the finish line. Giggle. To laugh in a light, high-pitched way. Example, the girls giggled behind their hands. Tee-hee. To laugh in a silly, childish way. Example, she tee-heed at every silly remark. Cackle. To laugh harshly and shrilly. Example, the villain cackled at his own plan. Crow. To boast or laugh in triumph. Example, he crowed over his rival's mistake. Jeer. To mock with laughter or shouts. Example, the crowd jeered the opposing team. Mock. To ridicule or mimic scornfully. Example, she mocked his pretentious accent. Snicker. To laugh in a suppressed, disrespectful way. Example, students snickered behind the teacher's back. Snigger. To laugh rudely and quietly. Example, they sniggered at his outdated outfit. Taunt. To provoke with mocking words. Example, rivals taunted him about his defeat. Distort. To misrepresent or twist the truth. Example, he distorted the facts in his account. Fabricate. To invent a false story. Example, she fabricated an excuse for being late. Fib. To tell a small harmless lie. Example, he fibbed about finishing his vegetables. Fudge. To present facts dishonestly. Example, the company fudged its earnings report. Deceive. To make someone believe something false. Example, he deceived his family for years. Falsify. To alter, to make false or misleading. Example, she falsified the documents. Misrepresent. To give a false account of. Example, he misrepresented his qualifications. Con. To deceive someone into giving money. Example, she was conned out of her savings. Perjure. To lie under oath in court. Example, the witness perjured himself on the stand. Hoist. To raise with ropes or machinery. Example, workers hoisted the beam into place. Jack up. To raise with a jack or lever. Example, he jacked up the car to change the tire. Boost. To raise or lift up. Example, she boosted the child onto her shoulders. Elevate. To raise to a higher position. Example, the promotion elevated him to manager. Hike up. To raise a price or quantity. Example, the landlord hiked up the rent again. Raise. To lift or move to a higher position. Example, she raised her hand to ask a question. Glance. To look quickly at something. Example, she glanced at the clock and sighed. Glimpse. To see briefly or partially. Example, he glimpsed her through the crowd. Scan. To look quickly over a large area. Example, she scanned the menu for something cheap. Skim. To read or look over quickly. Example, he skimmed the report before the meeting. Spot. To notice or see something specific. Example, she spotted a mistake on the first page. Peek. To look quickly and secretly. Example, he peeked through the curtains. Peer. To look closely and searchingly. Example, she peered at the small print. Scout. To look around to find information. Example, he scouted the area before setting camp. Spy. To watch secretly. Example, the child spied on the adults from the stairs. Gape. To stare with mouth open in surprise. Example, she gaped at the massive diamond. Gawk. To stare rudely and openly. Example, tourists gawked at the celebrity. Ogle. To stare in an obvious rude way. Example, he ogled every car in the showroom. Stare. To look fixedly at something. Example, she stared at the screen for hours. Watch. To look at carefully over time. Example, he watched the game from the balcony. Admire. To look at with pleasure and respect. Example, she admired the painting for a long time. Appraise. To assess carefully with a look. Example, he appraised the antique with a trained eye. Behold. To see or observe with wonder. Example, she beheld the sunrise in silence. Focus. To direct attention on one thing. Example, he focused his camera on the horizon. Gaze. To look steadily and intently. Example, she gazed out the window at the rain. Observe. To watch carefully and attentively. Example, scientists observed the eclipse closely. Peruse. To read or examine carefully. Example, she perused the contract before signing. Pore over. To study something very carefully. Example, he pored over the map all morning. Regard. To look at steadily or consider. Example, she regarded him with suspicion. Study. To look at carefully to learn. Example, she studied his face for any sign of doubt. View. To look at something from a distance. Example, he viewed the city from the hilltop. Examine. To inspect closely and thoroughly. Example, the doctor examined the wound carefully. Explore. To investigate or look through carefully. Example, she explored every corner of the old house. Eyeball. To look at carefully and directly. Example, he eyeballed every piece before buying. Gander. To take a look at something. Example, take a gander at what he built. Inspect. To look at carefully for defects. Example, the officer inspected every room. Rubberneck. To stare nosily at something. Example, drivers rubbernecked at the accident scene. Scrutinize. To examine very closely for detail. Example, she scrutinized every line of the contract. Snoop. To look through others' things secretly. Example, he snooped through her desk. Squint. To narrow the eyes to see better. Example, she squinted at the tiny text. Survey. To look over a wide area carefully. Example, he surveyed the damage after the storm. Glare. To stare with anger or hatred. Example, she glared at him across the table. Glower. To look with a dark, angry expression. Example, he glowered at every interruption. Lower. To look threateningly by lowering the brows. Example, the guard lowered as they approached. Scowl. To frown angrily. Example, she scowled at the noise outside. Snarl. To speak or look angrily. Example, he snarled at anyone who came near. Sneer. To smile or look with contempt. Example, he sneered at her amateur attempt. Buzz. To make a low humming sound. Example, the bees buzzed around the hive. Ding. To make a short ringing sound. Example, the elevator dinged at every floor. Ping. To make a sharp ringing sound. Example, her phone pinged with a new message. Whiz. To move with a rushing sound. Example, the arrow whizzed past his ear. Drone. To make a continuous low humming sound. Example, planes droned overhead all afternoon. Echo. To repeat a sound by reflection. Example, her voice echoed through the empty hall. Hum. To make a low steady sound. Example, she hummed softly while cooking. Whir. To make a buzzing spinning sound. Example, the fan whirred quietly in the corner. Chime. To ring with a clear musical tone. Example, the clock chimed on the hour. Knell. To ring a bell slowly and solemnly. Example, the church bell knelled for the funeral. Peal. To ring loudly and fully. Example, bells pealed across the valley. Toll. To ring slowly and regularly. Example, the church bell tolled 12 times. Trill. To sing or play with a rapid vibrating sound. Example, a bird trilled from the treetop. Warble. To sing with a wavering melodic sound. Example, she warbled a folk song to the children. Beep. To make a short electronic sound. Example, the machine beeped 3 times. Blip. To make a small electronic sound. Example, the radar blipped with a new contact. Chirp. To make a high short sound. Example, crickets chirped all through the night. Clang. To make a loud ringing metal sound. Example, the bell clanged in the tower. Clank. To make a dull metallic sound. Example, chains clanked in the cold corridor. Rattle. To make a rapid knocking sound. Example, windows rattled in the strong wind. Blare. To make a loud harsh sound. Example, horns blared at the stuck traffic. Blast. To make a loud sudden sound. Example, music blasted from the open window. Honk. To sound a horn loudly. Example, drivers honked in frustration. Toot. To make a short horn sound. Example, the boat tooted as it left the dock. Creak. To make a high squeaking sound when moved. Example, the old stairs creaked at every step. Jangle. To make a discordant ringing sound. Example, keys jangled in his pocket. Purr. To make a soft continuous sound. Example, the cat purred in her lap. Rustle. To make a soft sound of movement. Example, leaves rustled in the gentle breeze. Tinkle. To make a light ringing sound. Example, a bell tinkled above the shop door. Swish. To move with a soft rushing sound. Example, her skirt swished as she walked. Whoosh. To move with a rushing sweeping sound. Example, the train whooshed through the tunnel. Blunder. To make a careless stupid mistake. Example, he blundered by sending the wrong email. Mishandle. To deal with badly or carelessly. Example, she mishandled the delicate situation. Mismanage. To manage badly or incompetently. Example, he mismanaged the project from the start. Slip up. To make a minor error. Example, she slipped up on one key detail. Bungle. To carry out clumsily. Example, he bungled the repair job completely. Flub. To make a mess of something. Example, she flubbed her lines during rehearsal. Goof. To make a foolish mistake. Example, he goofed by forgetting the client's name. March to damage or spoil partially. Example, a scratch marred the new car's finish. Botch. To carry out very badly. Example, he botched the repair and made it worse. Contort. To twist into an unnatural shape. Example, she contorted her face in disgust. Writhe. To twist in pain or discomfort. Example, he writhed on the ground after the tackle. Gyrate. To move in circles or spirals. Example, she gyrated to the pounding music. Jiggle. To move with small rapid shakes. Example, he jiggled the key until the lock opened. Waggle. To move from side to side repeatedly. Example, the dog waggled its tail at every stranger. Wiggle. To move with small twisting motions. Example, she wiggled her toes in the warm sand. Worm. To move slowly by wriggling. Example, he wormed his way through the tight gap. Wriggle. To twist and squirm in movement. Example, the child wriggled out of his arms. Fidget. To move restlessly from nerves. Example, she fidgeted in her seat during the speech. Squirm. To twist nervously or in discomfort. Example, he squirmed under the intense questioning. Flail. To wave the arms or legs wildly. Example, she flailed in the water before being rescued. Thrash. To move violently in all directions. Example, he thrashed about in the tangled sheets. Jerk. To move with a sudden sharp motion. Example, he jerked his hand away from the flame. Twitch. To make a small sudden movement. Example, her eyelid twitched with fatigue. Whisk. To move or take somewhere very quickly. Example, she whisked the children out of the room. Flit. To move quickly and lightly. Example, butterflies flitted among the flowers. Flutter. To move with light irregular motion. Example, flags fluttered in the afternoon breeze. Frolic. To play or move about cheerfully. Example, puppies frolicked in the autumn leaves. Prance. To walk with high springing steps. Example, he pranced across the stage in character. Romp. To play or move in a lively way. Example, the children romped through the garden. Skate. To glide smoothly on a surface. Example, she skated across the ice effortlessly. Waft. To move gently through air. Example, a warm breeze wafted through the window. Elbow. To push with the elbows. Example, he elbowed through the crowd. Nudge. To push gently to get attention. Example, she nudged him when it was his turn. Press. To push steadily against something. Example, he pressed a button to start the machine. Prod. To poke or urge forward. Example, she prodded him to finish his homework. Shoulder. To push through using the shoulder. Example, he shouldered his way to the front. Bulldoze. To push through with great force. Example, she bulldozed her way past the objections. Butt. To push with the head or horns. Example, the goat butted him in the stomach. Jam. To force into a tight space. Example, he jammed the papers into the drawer. Jostle. To push roughly in a crowd. Example, fans jostled at the stadium entrance. Muscle. To force through with strength. Example, he muscled the heavy door open. Propel. To drive or push forward. Example, jet engines propel the aircraft. Shove. To push roughly. Example, someone shoved her from behind. Thrust. To push with force in one direction. Example, she thrust the letter into his hands. Merge. To combine into one. Example, the two lanes merged into one. Deposit. To put down carefully. Example, she deposited the baby in his crib. Insert. To put something into a space. Example, he inserted the key into the lock. Lay. To put down gently in a flat position. Example, she laid the book on the table. Place. To put in a specific position. Example, he placed the cup on the saucer. Rest. To place and leave without moving. Example, she rested her head on his shoulder. Set. To place carefully in position. Example, he set the glass down softly. Center. To place in the middle. Example, she centered the vase on the table. Park. To place and leave in position. Example, he parked his bike against the wall. Situate. To place in a specific location. Example, the house is situated on a hillside. Plop. To drop with a soft sound. Example, she plopped into the armchair. Plunk. To put down abruptly. Example, he plunked the bag on the counter. Assuage. To lessen pain or anxiety. Example, he assuaged her fears with kind words. Diffuse. To spread out or calm a tense situation. Example, she diffused the argument quickly. Hush. To make quiet. Example, she hushed the children before the performance. Mollify. To appease or soften someone's anger. Example, he mollified the customer with a refund. Muzzle. To silence or prevent from speaking. Example, the press was muzzled by the government. Pacify. To calm someone who is angry or upset. Example, she pacified the crying child. Quell. To suppress or put an end to. Example, police quelled the riot quickly. Subdue. To overcome and bring under control. Example, officers subdued the suspect. Tranquilize. To calm with a drug or soothing action. Example, the vet tranquilized the panicked animal. Wane. To decrease gradually in strength. Example, support for the policy began to wane. Elongate. To make longer. Example, yoga elongates the muscles over time. Lengthen. To make or become longer. Example, she lengthened the hem by 2 inches. Protract. To prolong or extend in time. Example, the lawsuit was protracted over years. Span. To extend across a distance or time. Example, the bridge spans 400 meters. Stretch. To extend to full length. Example, she stretched her arms above her head. Dart. To move suddenly and quickly. Example, a fish darted under the rock. Dash. To move in a rapid rush. Example, she dashed across the street. Fly. To move through air or very fast. Example, he flew through the hallways. Gallop. To run at full speed. Example, the horse galloped across the open field. Speed. To move very fast. Example, she sped through the work ahead of schedule. Sprint. To run at top speed for a short distance. Example, he sprinted to catch the bus. Hasten. To move or act with urgency. Example, she hastened to finish before dark. Hurry. To move or act quickly. Example, he hurried to meet the deadline. Hustle. To move quickly with purpose. Example, she hustled the kids out the door. Jog. To run at a slow, steady pace. Example, he jogs 3 miles every morning. Escape. To get away from a threatening situation. Example, she escaped through a back window. Flee. To run away from danger. Example, they fled the burning building. Zigzag. To move in alternate directions sharply. Example, the rabbit zigzagged across the field. Race. To compete in speed or move very fast. Example, cars raced through the city streets. Scatter. To run in different directions suddenly. Example, the flock scattered at the gunshot. Stampede. To run in a panic as a group. Example, the cattle stampeded through the fence. Bubble. To produce bubbles or flow gently. Example, the brook bubbled over smooth stones. Dribble. To flow in a thin, slow stream. Example, water dribbled from the broken faucet. Drip. To fall in drops. Example, rain dripped from the eaves all night. Drizzle. To fall as very fine rain. Example, it drizzled all morning without stopping. Drool. To let saliva flow from the mouth. Example, the dog drooled by the kitchen table. Ooze. To flow slowly through small openings. Example, mud oozed between his toes. Pool. To collect in a shallow puddle. Example, blood pooled on the floor. Puddle. To form small shallow pools. Example, rainwater puddled on the uneven pavement. Seep. To flow slowly through material. Example, water seeped through the cracked wall. Slop. To spill or splash messily. Example, he slopped soup on his shirt. Sprinkle. To scatter in small drops or pieces. Example, she sprinkled cinnamon over the oatmeal. Trickle. To flow in a thin, slow stream. Example, a trickle of blood ran from the cut. Well. To rise up from a source. Example, tears welled in her eyes. Slobber. To drool or flow messily. Example, the dog slobbered on the clean floor. Slosh. To move liquid with splashing sounds. Example, he sloshed through the flooded street. Splash. To scatter liquid noisily. Example, children splashed in the swimming pool. Spout. To flow or gush forcefully. Example, water spouted from the cracked pipe. Squirt. To shoot liquid in a thin stream. Example, the lemon squirted juice in his eye. Stream. To flow continuously in a current. Example, sunlight streamed through the window. Swamp. To flood or overwhelm with liquid. Example, waves swamped the small boat. Gush. To flow out suddenly and abundantly. Example, water gushed from the broken main. Spray. To scatter liquid in fine droplets. Example, she sprayed perfume on her wrists. Surge. To move powerfully forward. Example, water surged through the dam breach. Score. To make a line or mark on a surface. Example, she scored the dough before baking. Scrape. To drag across a surface roughly. Example, he scraped ice off the windshield. Scuff. To graze lightly, damaging a surface. Example, she scuffed her shoes on the gravel. Scar. To leave a lasting mark or wound. Example, the accident scarred his arm. Claw. To scratch with nails or claws. Example, the cat clawed at the sofa. Palpitate. To beat rapidly and irregularly. Example, her heart palpitated with anxiety. Pulsate. To expand and contract rhythmically. Example, the wound pulsated with pain. Quake. To shake with fear or from tremors. Example, she quaked before the audience. Quiver. To tremble slightly. Example, his voice quivered as he began to speak. Shiver. To shake from cold or fear. Example, she shivered in the icy wind. Shudder. To shake suddenly in disgust or fear. Example, he shuddered at the horrible memory. Tremble. To shake slightly from emotion or cold. Example, his hands trembled as he opened the letter. Tremor. To shake or vibrate involuntarily. Example, his voice tremored with fear. Vibrate. To move back and forth rapidly. Example, the phone vibrated on the table. Oscillate. To swing back and forth steadily. Example, the pendulum oscillated with precision. Rock. To move back and forth gently. Example, she rocked the baby to sleep. Seesaw. To alternate back and forth. Example, his mood seesawed between joy and despair. Waver. To sway unsteadily or be uncertain. Example, her confidence wavered under pressure. Wobble. To move unsteadily from side to side. Example, the table wobbled on the uneven floor. Convulse. To shake violently and uncontrollably. Example, he convulsed on the floor. Jounce. To bounce and jolt roughly. Example, the wagon jounced over the rough road. Flare. To burn or shine suddenly and briefly. Example, the match flared in the darkness. Flash. To shine with a sudden bright light. Example, lightning flashed across the sky. Flicker. To shine unsteadily going on and off. Example, the candle flickered in the draft. Glint. To reflect a small flash of light. Example, her ring glinted in the sunlight. Glisten. To shine with reflected moisture. Example, the wet grass glistened after the rain. Glitter. To sparkle with many tiny flashes. Example, stars glittered in the clear night sky. Shimmer. To shine with a soft wavering light. Example, heat made the road shimmer in the distance. Spark. To emit a small flash of light. Example, wires sparked when they touched. Sparkle. To shine with many bright flashes. Example, diamonds sparkled under the lights. Strobe. To flash at rapid regular intervals. Example, lights strobed on the dance floor. Twinkle. To shine with flickering light. Example, stars twinkled in the clear night. Beam. To shine brightly and steadily. Example, sunlight beamed through the window. Blaze. To burn or shine very brightly. Example, the fire blazed all through the night. Flame. To burn with a bright flame. Example, the torch flamed in the darkness. Gleam. To shine with a soft steady light. Example, his shoes gleamed with a fresh polish. Glow. To shine with a warm steady light. Example, coals glowed red in the fireplace. Collapse. To fall suddenly into a lower position. Example, she collapsed into a chair exhausted. Plop down. To sit down heavily and suddenly. Example, he plopped down on the couch after work. Perch. To sit on a high or narrow place. Example, she perched on the edge of the desk. Roost. To settle in for the night. Example, birds roost in the old oak tree. Lounge. To sit or lie in a relaxed way. Example, he lounged on the sofa all afternoon. Recline. To lean back in a relaxed position. Example, she reclined in the deck chair. Sprawl. To sit or lie with limbs spread out. Example, he sprawled across the couch after lunch. Squat. To crouch down with knees bent. Example, she squatted to look under the bed. Straddle. To sit with legs on either side. Example, he straddled the fence between the fields. Beseech. To beg earnestly and urgently. Example, she beseeched him to change his mind. Advertise. To make something publicly known. Example, they advertised the event across social media. Announce. To state publicly and formally. Example, she announced her resignation at the meeting. Broadcast. To transmit or spread widely. Example, the station broadcast the news all day. Command. To give an authoritative order. Example, the general commanded troops to advance. Enunciate. To speak clearly and distinctly. Example, she enunciated every word for the audience. Gloat. To boast over someone else's misfortune. Example, he gloated over his rival's failure. Herald. To announce or signal an arrival. Example, dark clouds heralded the coming storm. Lecture. To speak at length to instruct. Example, he lectured students on the French Revolution. Lord over. To assert superiority over others. Example, she lorded over the new employees. Preach. To give a moral or religious speech. Example, he preached about forgiveness every Sunday. Proclaim. To announce officially and publicly. Example, the mayor proclaimed the city's new policy. Cajole. To persuade gently or with flattery. Example, she cajoled him into finishing his plate. Challenge. To invite to compete or question. Example, he challenged the leader to a debate. Coax. To persuade gently and patiently. Example, she coaxed the cat out from under the bed. Coerce. To force someone by threats. Example, he was coerced into signing the contract. Complain. To express dissatisfaction. Example, she complained about the noise every day. Correct. To tell someone they are wrong. Example, she corrected his pronunciation kindly. Egg on. To urge or encourage recklessly. Example, his friends egged him on to jump. Goad. To provoke or urge into action. Example, she goaded him until he lost his temper. Grouse. To grumble or complain. Example, he groused about the weather all morning. Inspire. To motivate through enthusiasm. Example, her speech inspired the entire team. Nag. To constantly urge or complain. Example, she nagged him to finish the project. Spur. To urge or encourage into action. Example, his praise spurred her to work harder. Wheedle. To persuade by flattery or coaxing. Example, she wheedled a raise from her boss. Falter. To hesitate or stumble in speech. Example, his voice faltered when he mentioned her name. Garble. To distort speech or sound. Example, nerves made him garble his introduction. Hem. To pause and hesitate in speech. Example, he hemmed and hawed before answering. Mumble. To speak unclearly and quietly. Example, she mumbled her apology into her sleeve. Mutter. To speak quietly and indistinctly. Example, he muttered complaints under his breath. Slur. To speak unclearly, blending sounds. Example, fatigue caused her to slur her words. Spit out. To say something with effort or reluctance. Example, he finally spat out an apology. Splutter. To speak with sudden spitting sounds. Example, she spluttered in outrage at the insult. Sputter. To make explosive sounds while speaking. Example, he sputtered excuses as they stared. Stammer. To speak with repeated sounds from nerves. Example, he stammered through his first job interview. Stutter. To speak with involuntary repetition. Example, she stuttered when she was anxious. Articulate. To express clearly in words. Example, she articulated her concerns with precision. Utter. To speak or make a sound. Example, he uttered not a single word in protest. Whisper. To speak very softly. Example, she whispered a secret in his ear. Admonish. To firmly warn or rebuke. Example, she admonished him for being late again. Badger. To pester with repeated requests. Example, he badgered her until she agreed. Bark. To say something sharply and loudly. Example, the sergeant barked orders at the squad. Berate. To scold angrily and at length. Example, she berated the staff for the mistake. Chasten. To correct by discipline or criticism. Example, failure chastened him into a humbler attitude. Chastise. To reprimand or criticize severely. Example, the coach chastised players for poor effort. Growl. To speak with a low, threatening tone. Example, he growled a warning across the table. Heckle. To shout rude interruptions. Example, the audience heckled the comedian. Henpeck. To nag or dominate persistently. Example, she henpecked him about every small habit. Hiss. To speak with sharp hostility. Example, she hissed at him to keep quiet. Rant. To speak in a long, angry, wild way. Example, he ranted about the policy for an hour. Rebuke. To express sharp disapproval. Example, the judge rebuked the lawyer for misconduct. Reproach. To criticize with disappointment. Example, she reproached him for breaking his promise. Reprove. To rebuke gently but firmly. Example, the teacher reproved him without embarrassing him. Revile. To criticize in abusive language. Example, the crowd reviled the referee's decision. Scold. To rebuke angrily. Example, she scolded the dog for chewing the chair. Upbraid. To find fault with and scold. Example, he upbraided the team for the costly error. Babble. To talk rapidly and unclearly. Example, she babbled nervously before the interview. Chatter. To talk quickly about unimportant things. Example, they chattered all through the film. Gab. To talk casually for a long time. Example, she gabbed with her sister for hours. Gossip. To talk about others' private matters. Example, they gossiped about the new neighbors. Jabber. To talk quickly and incoherently. Example, he jabbered on without making any sense. Prattle. To talk at length on trivial matters. Example, the child prattled about his day. Yak. To talk persistently about nothing important. Example, they yacked through the entire lunch. Croon. To sing in a soft sentimental voice. Example, he crooned old love songs by the fire. Sing. To make musical sounds with the voice. Example, she sang to herself while cooking. Yodel. To sing with rapid high-low pitch changes. Example, he yodeled from the mountain peak. Beckon. To signal to someone to come. Example, she beckoned him over with a nod. Invite. To ask someone to come or participate. Example, they invited him to join the team. Summon. To call to come often authoritatively. Example, the manager summoned her to the office. Compress. To press or squeeze into less space. Example, he compressed the data to save space. Constrict. To make narrower by squeezing. Example, cold water constricts blood vessels. Knead. To press and fold repeatedly. Example, she kneaded the dough for 10 minutes. Squish. To squeeze something soft. Example, he squished the clay into a ball. Wring. To squeeze and twist to extract liquid. Example, she wrung out the wet towel. Squash. To press flat or crush. Example, she squashed the spider under her shoe. Perforate. To make a hole or holes through. Example, the needle perforated the leather. Poke through. To push something through an opening. Example, he poked the wire through the hole. Prick. To make a small hole with a sharp point. Example, the nurse pricked his finger for blood. Jab. To poke sharply and quickly. Example, she jabbed the needle in quickly. Knife. To stab with a knife. Example, he was knifed during the robbery. Pierce. To go through with a sharp object. Example, the arrow pierced the target cleanly. Puncture. To make a hole in by pricking. Example, a nail punctured the tire. Gore. To pierce with horns or tusks. Example, the bull gored the matador. Impale. To pierce through with a sharp stake. Example, He impaled the marshmallow on a stick. Lance. To pierce with a lance or needle. Example, the doctor lanced the infected blister. Run through. To pierce completely through. Example, he was run through with a sword. Spear. To pierce with a spear or sharp object. Example, he speared the fish in the shallow stream. Blend. To mix smoothly together. Example, she blended the ingredients into a smooth batter. Churn. To stir vigorously. Example, the storm churned the sea into a froth. Mingle. To mix together. Example, the guests mingled freely at the party. Mix. To combine different things together. Example, he mixed the paint to get the right shade. Beat. To stir rapidly or strike repeatedly. Example, she beat the eggs until they were frothy. Block. To prevent movement or progress. Example, he blocked the doorway with his body. Delay. To cause to be late. Example, the storm delayed all the flights. Freeze. To stop all movement suddenly. Example, she froze in place at the loud noise. Hinder. To create difficulties for progress. Example, rain hindered the rescue efforts. Pause. To stop temporarily. Example, he paused before answering the hard question. Postpone. To move to a later time. Example, they postponed the meeting until Thursday. Restrain. To hold back from action. Example, she restrained herself from saying too much. Squelch. To suppress firmly. Example, he squelched the rumor before it spread. Stall. To delay or stop progress. Example, she stalled for time while he escaped. Stymie. To block or prevent from proceeding. Example, bad weather stymied the rescue operation. Suppress. To prevent from being expressed. Example, she suppressed her anger during the meeting. Cease. To stop permanently. Example, the company ceased operations overnight. Foil. To prevent someone's plans from succeeding. Example, police foiled the robbery attempt. Kill. To end completely or cause death. Example, the editor killed the story before publication. Quash. To suppress or put an end to firmly. Example, he quashed the rebellion quickly. Terminate. To bring to an end. Example, they terminated the contract early. Thwart. To prevent someone from succeeding. Example, the guard thwarted the escape attempt. Arrest. To stop suddenly or take into custody. Example, she arrested the bleeding with pressure. Halt. To stop abruptly. Example, the officer halted traffic at the junction. Bridle. To restrain or control. Example, he bridled his anger in front of the boss. Curb. To control or limit. Example, she curbed her spending after the debt. Impede. To delay or obstruct progress. Example, heavy snow impeded the rescue teams. Limit. To set a maximum for something. Example, she limited herself to 2 cups of coffee. Obstruct. To block or make difficult. Example, fallen trees obstructed the road. Beef up. To strengthen or increase in size. Example, they beefed up security after the threat. Bolster. To support and strengthen. Example, new evidence bolstered her argument. Brace. To strengthen or prepare against impact. Example, she braced herself for the bad news. Buttress. To support or reinforce. Example, more research would buttress their theory. Fortify. To strengthen against attack or failure. Example, he fortified himself with coffee and resolve. Intensify. To make stronger or more extreme. Example, rain intensified as the night went on. Shore up. To reinforce something weakening. Example, they shored up the crumbling foundation. Steel. To mentally prepare for something hard. Example, she steeled herself before the confrontation. Startle. To surprise suddenly causing a jump. Example, the loud noise startled her. Stun. To shock into temporary immobility. Example, the news stunned everyone in the room. Amaze. To fill with wonder and surprise. Example, the magician's trick amazed the children. Daze. To stun or confuse. Example, the impact dazed him for a moment. Astonish. To surprise greatly. Example, her talent astonished every judge. Astound. To shock with amazement. Example, the discovery astounded the scientific world. Bowl over. To overwhelm with surprise. Example, the news bowled her over completely. Dumbfound. To leave speechless with surprise. Example, the result completely dumbfounded the experts. Flabbergast. To greatly shock or astonish. Example, the bill flabbergasted every customer. Floor. To astonish or defeat completely. Example, her question floored the entire panel. Numb. To deprive of feeling or sensation. Example, cold numbed his fingers within minutes. Paralyze. To make unable to move or act. Example, fear paralyzed him at the top of the stairs. Shock. To cause great surprise or distress. Example, the death shocked the entire community. Stupefy. To make dazed and unable to think. Example, the heat stupefied everyone by afternoon. Balloon. To swell rapidly in size. Example, costs ballooned out of control. Billow. To swell out in large soft folds. Example, smoke billowed from the chimney. Blossom. To develop or expand fully. Example, her talent blossomed with encouragement. Bulge. To swell outward from pressure. Example, the bag bulged with too many books. Burgeon. To grow and expand rapidly. Example, the startup began to burgeon quickly. Flower. To develop and flourish fully. Example, her confidence flowered in the new role. Inflate. To fill with air or increase artificially. Example, he inflated the tires before the trip. Mushroom. To expand or grow very rapidly. Example, the city mushroomed in just a decade. Protrude. To stick out from a surface. Example, a nail protruded from the old board. Bag. To catch or get something quickly. Example, she bagged the last seat on the train. Nab. To catch someone doing wrong. Example, police nabbed the thief at the border. Net. To catch in a net or obtain. Example, the deal netted him $1 million. Pluck. To pull with a quick motion. Example, she plucked the ticket from his hand. Snag. To catch unexpectedly. Example, he snagged the last slice of pizza. Snap up. To take quickly before others can. Example, shoppers snapped up the discounted items. Snatch. To grab quickly and forcefully. Example, she snatched her bag from the thief. Yank. To pull with a sharp jerk. Example, he yanked the door open in frustration. Acquire. To gain or come to possess. Example, she acquired a taste for jazz. Amass. To gather a large amount over time. Example, he amassed a fortune by 40. Capture. To seize and take control of. Example, police captured the fugitive at dawn. Clasp. To grasp and hold tightly. Example, she clasped his hand during the ceremony. Clutch. To grasp tightly in the hand. Example, he clutched the railing as he climbed. Collect. To gather things as a hobby or set. Example, she collects vintage stamps from every country. Glean. To gather information bit by bit. Example, she gleaned useful tips from the book. Grab. To take suddenly with the hand. Example, he grabbed his coat and ran. Grasp. To seize firmly with the hand. Example, she grasped the opportunity without hesitation. Grip. To hold very tightly. Example, he gripped the wheel tightly in the storm. Harvest. To gather crops or resources. Example, they harvested the wheat in August. Hoard. To store secretly in large amounts. Example, she hoarded supplies in case of emergency. Obtain. To get something by effort or request. Example, he obtained the permit after 6 months. Reap. To harvest or gain as a result. Example, she reaped the rewards of years of hard work. Reserve. To keep for a specific purpose. Example, he reserved the best seats in advance. Seize. To take hold of suddenly and forcibly. Example, police seized the contraband at the border. Squirrel away. To save and hide for future use. Example, she squirreled away money for years. Stash. To store something secretly. Example, he stashed cash behind the painting. Stock. To keep a supply of something. Example, she stocked the pantry for winter. Stow. To pack and store neatly. Example, he stowed his bag in the overhead bin. Pilfer. To steal in small amounts. Example, someone pilfered snacks from the break room. Pocket. To take quietly for oneself. Example, he pocketed the change without a word. Swipe. To steal quickly. Example, someone swiped her phone on the subway. Conceive. To form an idea in the mind. Example, she conceived of a bold new plan. Concentrate. To focus mental effort on one thing. Example, he concentrated hard during the exam. Consider. To think carefully about something. Example, she considered every option before deciding. Contemplate. To think deeply and at length. Example, he contemplated his next move for hours. Deliberate. To think and consider carefully. Example, the jury deliberated for 2 days. Meditate. To focus the mind for calm or insight. Example, she meditated for 20 minutes each morning. Ponder. To think about carefully and at length. Example, he pondered the question for a long time. Reflect. To think deeply about past events. Example, she reflected quietly on her mistakes. Envision. To imagine something clearly in the mind. Example, she envisioned a bright future ahead. Fantasize. To imagine pleasant but unlikely things. Example, he fantasized about winning the lottery. Imagine. To form a mental image or idea. Example, she imagined how the room would look. Picture. To visualize something in the mind. Example, he pictured himself crossing the finish line. Visualize. To form a clear mental image. Example, she visualized success before the race. Analyze. To examine in detail to understand. Example, scientists analyzed the data carefully. Assume. To accept as true without proof. Example, he assumed she would be on time. Calculate. To work out mathematically. Example, she calculated the cost in her head. Compute. To calculate using math or a computer. Example, The system computed the result instantly. Deduce. To reach a conclusion by reasoning. Example, he deduced the answer from the clues. Estimate. To make an approximate judgment. Example, she estimated the cost at $500. Evaluate. To assess value or significance. Example, the panel evaluated each application carefully. Gather. To conclude or infer from evidence. Example, he gathered from her tone that she was upset. Gauge. To estimate or measure roughly. Example, she gauged his mood before speaking. Infer. To draw a conclusion from evidence. Example, she inferred he was lying from his eyes. Presume. To suppose something is true. Example, he presumed innocence until proven otherwise. Reason. To think logically to reach a conclusion. Example, she reasoned through the problem step by step. Reckon. To calculate or conclude informally. Example, he reckoned it would take an hour. Speculate. To form a theory without full evidence. Example, experts speculated about the cause. Suppose. To assume something for the sake of argument. Example, suppose she was right all along. Surmise. To suppose without full evidence. Example, he surmised the meeting had gone badly. Theorize. To form a theory or explanation. Example, scientists theorized a new mechanism. Fixate. To be obsessively focused on something. Example, he fixated on the same problem all day. Obsess. To think about something constantly. Example, she obsessed over every tiny detail. Cast. To throw something lightly. Example, he cast the fishing line into the lake. Flick. To throw or move with a quick snap. Example, she flicked the light switch. Flip. To turn over with a light motion. Example, he flipped the pancake in the pan. Sling. To throw with a swinging motion. Example, she slung her bag over her shoulder. Toss. To throw lightly and casually. Example, he tossed the keys across the room. Chuck. To throw carelessly. Example, she chucked the old papers in the bin. Fling. To throw with force or abandon. Example, he flung the phone across the room. Hurl. To throw with great force. Example, she hurled the ball over the fence. Banish. To send away as punishment. Example, the king banished the traitor from court. Discard. To throw away as useless. Example, she discarded all her old notes. Ditch. To get rid of something unwanted. Example, he ditched the old plan for a better one. Dump. To put down carelessly or abandon. Example, she dumped her bag on the kitchen table. Eject. To throw out by force. Example, the bouncer ejected him from the club. Eliminate. To remove completely. Example, they eliminated all errors from the code. Expel. To force someone to leave officially. Example, he was expelled from school. Jettison. To throw overboard or discard. Example, she jettisoned the unnecessary rules. Junk. To discard as worthless. Example, he junked the old computer. Reject. To refuse to accept. Example, the publisher rejected his first novel. Scrap. To abandon or discard. Example, they scrapped the plan entirely. Trash. To throw away or criticize harshly. Example, she trashed the rough draft and started over. Interlace. To weave or cross together. Example, she interlaced her fingers nervously. Lace. To thread through holes or loops. Example, he laced his boots before the hike. Strap. To fasten with a strap. Example, she strapped the bag to the roof rack. Bind. To tie firmly together. Example, he bound the newspapers with twine. Cinch. To fasten tightly around. Example, she cinched the belt around her waist. Knot. To tie into a knot. Example, he knotted the rope to secure the boat. Sew. To join with needle and thread. Example, she sewed the button back on. Stitch. To join by making stitches. Example, the nurse stitched the wound closed. Suture. To sew a wound with medical thread. Example, the surgeon sutured the incision carefully. Tether. To tie to a fixed point. Example, she tethered the horse to the post. Truss. To tie up tightly. Example, he trussed the chicken before roasting it. Incline. To lean or tilt in a direction. Example, she inclined her head to listen. Slant. To slope at an angle. Example, the roof slants steeply to shed rain. Tip. To lean at an angle or topple. Example, the box tipped and spilled its contents. Capsize. To overturn in water. Example, the canoe capsized in the rapids. Append. To turn upside down. Example, she appended the box to find the key. Graze. To touch lightly in passing. Example, the bullet grazed his shoulder. Kiss. To touch very lightly. Example, sunlight kissed the tops of the buildings. Trace. To draw or touch lightly along. Example, she traced the outline with her finger. Trail. To drag or touch lightly behind. Example, her fingers trailed along the wall. Fondle. To touch tenderly and lovingly. Example, she fondled the old locket. Handle. To touch or use with the hands. Example, he handled the antiques with great care. Grope. To feel around blindly or clumsily. Example, he groped for the light switch in the dark. Paw. To touch or handle clumsily. Example, the child pawed at the display case. Finger. To feel or touch with the fingers. Example, she fingered the rough texture of the cloth. Poke. To push with a finger or stick. Example, he poked the fire to revive it. Probe. To explore with a tool or finger. Example, the doctor probed the wound gently. Brush. To touch lightly in passing. Example, she brushed his hand as she passed. Massage. To rub and press muscles for relief. Example, he massaged her tired shoulders. Palm. To conceal in the palm or touch. Example, the magician palmed the coin easily. Rub. To move back and forth over a surface. Example, she rubbed her eyes when she woke up. Stroke. To move the hand gently over. Example, she stroked the cat's fur. Tap. To touch lightly and briefly. Example, he tapped her on the shoulder. Caress. To touch lovingly and tenderly. Example, she caressed the baby's cheek. Pat. To touch gently with a flat hand. Example, he patted the dog on the head. Pet. To stroke an animal affectionately. Example, she loves to pet the neighbor's cat. Fiddle with. To touch repeatedly out of nervousness. Example, he fiddled with his pen during the speech. Hinge. To turn or depend on a central point. Example, the door hinged on a single rusted bolt. Pivot. To rotate on a central point. Example, she pivoted on her heel and walked away. Screw. To rotate, to tighten or loosen. Example, he screwed the lid tightly on the jar. Shift. To move slightly in position or direction. Example, she shifted in her seat uncomfortably. Swivel. To turn around a central axis. Example, he swiveled the chair to face her. Twist. To rotate and turn. Example, she twisted the cap off the bottle. Dodge. To move quickly to avoid something. Example, he dodged the flying ball. Spin. To turn rapidly around a central point. Example, the dancer spun across the stage. Swerve. To turn sharply to avoid something. Example, the driver swerved to miss the dog. Twirl. To spin around lightly and quickly. Example, she twirled her pen between her fingers. Veer. To change direction suddenly. Example, the car veered off the road in the rain. Wheel around. To turn sharply around. Example, she wheeled around when she heard her name. Crank. To turn with a handle or lever. Example, he cranked the old engine to life. Wind. To turn or coil around something. Example, she wound the rope around the post. Corkscrew. To move in a twisting spiral. Example, the plane corkscrewed through the clouds. Revolve. To rotate around a fixed point. Example, the earth revolves around the sun. Rotate. To turn around its own axis. Example, the satellite rotates every 90 minutes. Scamper. To run quickly with light steps. Example, the mouse scampered behind the fridge. Scoot. To move quickly. Example, she scooted over to make room. Scramble. To move quickly in a disordered way. Example, children scrambled for the candy. Scurry. To move quickly with short steps. Example, she scurried to the meeting. Scutter. To scurry with hurried steps. Example, crabs scuttered across the beach. Trot. To run at a moderate pace. Example, he trotted down the stairs. Dawdle. To move slowly and waste time. Example, stop dawdling and get ready now. Lumber. To move heavily and clumsily. Example, the bear lumbered into the clearing. Plod. To walk heavily and steadily. Example, he plodded home through the rain. Shuffle. To walk without lifting the feet. Example, he shuffled sleepily to the kitchen. Slog. To walk with difficulty through mud. Example, they slogged through the swamp for hours. Traipse. To walk wearily over a long distance. Example, she traipsed all over town looking for it. Trudge. To walk slowly with great effort. Example, he trudged uphill through the deep snow. Pad. To walk quietly with soft steps. Example, she padded across the room in bare feet. Slide. To move smoothly along a surface. Example, children slid down the snowy hill. Slip. To slide accidentally. Example, he slipped on the wet floor. Stamp. To walk with heavy, loud footsteps. Example, she stamped upstairs in anger. Stomp. To walk heavily to make noise. Example, he stomped out of the room. Tramp. To walk heavily. Example, soldiers tramped through the mud. Trample. To walk on and crush underfoot. Example, the crowd trampled the garden. Amble. To walk at a slow, easy pace. Example, they ambled along the riverbank. Drift. To move slowly without direction. Example, he drifted through the market without purpose. Meander. To wander without a clear direction. Example, they meandered through the old town. Mosey. To walk in a leisurely way. Example, she moseyed over to see what was happening. Pace. To walk back and forth repeatedly. Example, he paced the waiting room nervously. Ramble. To walk in a random leisurely way. Example, they rambled through the countryside all day. Roam. To travel without a fixed plan. Example, he roamed the city at night. Stray. To move away from the group or path. Example, the cat strayed 2 blocks from home. Wander. To move around without direction. Example, she wandered through the museum for hours. March. To walk with a regular military step. Example, the band marched down the main street. Parade. To walk in a procession or show off. Example, she paraded her trophy around the office. Sashay. To walk confidently with a swinging gait. Example, she sashayed onto the dance floor. Saunter. To walk slowly with confidence. Example, he sauntered into the meeting 10 minutes late. Stride. To walk with long confident steps. Example, she strode across the stage. Strut. To walk proudly with chest out. Example, he strutted after winning the award. Swagger. To walk with arrogant confidence. Example, he swaggered into the bar. Advance. To move forward purposefully. Example, troops advanced at dawn. Range. To wander or extend over an area. Example, he ranged across the open hills. Rove. To travel widely without purpose. Example, wolves roved the forest at night. Stroll. To walk in a relaxed, leisurely way. Example, they strolled along the harbor at sunset. Careen. To move fast and out of control. Example, the car careened around the bend. Lurch. To move suddenly and unsteadily. Example, the bus lurched to a stop. Reel. To stagger as if dizzy. Example, he reeled backward from the punch. Stagger. To walk unsteadily. Example, she staggered home after the long night. Stumble. To trip or walk unsteadily. Example, he stumbled on the dark stairs. Sway. To lean or swing from side to side. Example, she swayed to the music. Teeter. To balance unsteadily. Example, the stack of books teetered dangerously. Toddle. To walk with short unsteady steps. Example, the baby toddled across the room. Trip. To catch a foot and stumble. Example, she tripped on the loose rug. Waddle. To walk with a swaying side motion. Example, the duck waddled across the path. Weave. To move in an unsteady zigzag path. Example, he weaved through the crowd. Creep. To move slowly and quietly. Example, she crept past the sleeping dog. Lurk. To wait in hiding with intent. Example, a figure lurked in the shadows. Prowl. To move stealthily in search of prey. Example, cats prowl at night. Shadow. To follow closely and secretly. Example, he shadowed the suspect all day. Skulk. To move stealthily to avoid notice. Example, he skulked around the back of the building. Slink. To move quietly to avoid detection. Example, the thief slunk away in the dark. Slither. To slide or glide smoothly. Example, the snake slithered through the grass. Sneak. To move quietly so as not to be caught. Example, she sneaked out after curfew. Tiptoe. To walk very quietly on the toes. Example, he tiptoed past the sleeping baby. Edge. To move slowly and carefully sideways. Example, she edged past the broken glass. Inch. To move very slowly in small steps. Example, he inched toward the exit. Sidle. To walk sideways nervously. Example, she sidled up to him at the bar. Wade. To walk through water or mud. Example, they waded across the shallow river. Desire. To want or wish for strongly. Example, she desired a quieter life. Fancy. To want or like mildly. Example, he fancied a cup of tea. Hunger. To have a strong desire for something. Example, she hungered for recognition. Thirst. To crave something strongly. Example, he thirsted for adventure. Covet. To desire something belonging to another. Example, she coveted her neighbor's garden. Crave. To feel a powerful desire for. Example, he craved sugar after every meal. Lust. To have an intense obsessive desire. Example, he lusted after power his whole career. Abate. To decrease in strength or intensity. Example, the storm slowly abated by morning. Decrease. To become smaller or fewer. Example, sales decreased after the bad review. Diminish. To become smaller or less important. Example, her confidence diminished over time. Ease. To make less severe or tense. Example, medication eased the pain. Ebb. To gradually decrease. Example, enthusiasm began to ebb after the loss. Fade. To lose strength or color gradually. Example, the sound faded into the distance. Recede. To go back and become more distant. Example, floodwaters slowly receded. Stifle. To suppress or hold back. Example, she stifled a yawn during the speech. Drudge. To do hard, tedious work. Example, he drudged through paperwork all morning. Labor. To work hard over a period of time. Example, she labored for years on her novel. Slave. To work extremely hard. Example, he slaved over the project all week. Strain. To make a great physical effort. Example, she strained to lift the heavy box. Strive. To make great efforts to achieve. Example, he strives to improve every day. Toil. To work long and hard. Example, workers toiled in the summer heat. Disquiet. To make anxious or uneasy. Example, the news disquieted the whole village. Unnerve. To cause loss of confidence or calm. Example, his silence unnerved her. Brood. To think moodily and at length. Example, he brooded over the rejection for days. Fret. To worry about small things. Example, she fretted about every detail. Overburden. To load with too much work or worry. Example, she was overburdened with tasks. Stew. To worry or fuss excessively. Example, he stewed over the comment all day. Stress. To feel anxiety or pressure. Example, she stressed about the deadline all week. Agitate. To make anxious and disturbed. Example, the noise agitated the baby. Agonize. To suffer intensely over a decision. Example, she agonized over leaving her job. Crease. To make a fold or wrinkle in. Example, he creased his trousers by sitting wrong. Crimp. To press into small folds. Example, she crimped the pastry edges. Pucker. To gather into wrinkles. Example, the fabric puckered after washing. Crinkle. To form many small wrinkles. Example, the paper crinkled when she grabbed it. Crumple. To crush into an irregular mass. Example, he crumpled the letter and threw it away. Doodle. To draw absent-mindedly. Example, she doodled in the margins during class. Jot. To write quickly and briefly. Example, he jotted down her number. Scratch. To write hastily and roughly. Example, she scratched a note on a napkin. Scrawl. To write in a careless, messy way. Example, he scrawled his name across the bottom. Scribble. To write hastily and carelessly. Example, she scribbled a reminder on her hand. Compose. To create a written work carefully. Example, she composed a long letter to the editor. Draft. To write a rough version of something. Example, he drafted the proposal before the meeting. Inscribe. To write or carve formally. Example, she inscribed his name in the book. Pen. To write formally or carefully. Example, he penned a heartfelt reply. Print. To write in clear separate letters. Example, she printed her name neatly on the form. Record. To write down for later reference. Example, he recorded the minutes of the meeting. Type. To write using a keyboard. Example, she typed the report in 2 hours. Boom. To make a deep resonant sound. Example, thunder boomed across the valley. Holler. To shout loudly. Example, he hollered across the field. Thunder. To make a deep loud noise. Example, the coach thundered orders at the team. Trumpet. To proclaim loudly. Example, he trumpeted his success to everyone. Caterwaul. To make a shrill wailing cry. Example, the cats caterwauled outside all night. Screech. To make a piercing high cry. Example, tires screeched on the wet road. Shriek. To give a high sharp cry. Example, she shrieked when she saw the spider. Squawk. To make a loud harsh cry. Example, the parrot squawked at every visitor. Bay. To make a long deep howl. Example, the hound bayed at the full moon. Yowl. To make a long loud cry of pain. Example, the cat yowled all night. Yelp. To give a short sharp cry. Example, the dog yelped when she stepped on his paw. Yip. To give a small sharp bark. Example, the small dog yipped at the stranger. Cheer. To shout in approval or encouragement. Example, fans cheered when the team scored. Alarm. To fill with sudden fear or anxiety. Example, the news alarmed the whole neighborhood. Blanch. To turn white from shock or cold. Example, he blanched when he heard the diagnosis. Boot. To kick hard. Example, she booted the ball into the upper corner. Buff. To polish to a shine. Example, he buffed the car until it gleamed. Cluster. To gather in a close group. Example, reporters clustered around the entrance. Congregate. To gather in a crowd. Example, students congregated outside the exam hall. Crab. To complain grumpily. Example, he crabbed about the cold all morning. Dally. To waste time or flirt idly. Example, stop dallying and get to work. Dazzle. To impress overwhelmingly. Example, her performance dazzled the audience. Drench. To make completely wet. Example, rain drenched them before they found shelter. Electrify. To excite greatly. Example, her speech electrified the entire crowd. Elicit. To draw out a response. Example, his question elicited a surprising answer. Evoke. To bring a memory or feeling to mind. Example, the smell evoked childhood memories. Extract. To draw out with effort. Example, she extracted a promise from him. Fester. To become worse through neglect. Example, resentment festered for years. Fizzle. To fail gradually or weakly. Example, the plan fizzled out within a month. Flap. To wave loosely or be agitated. Example, the flag flapped in the wind. Flaunt. To display ostentatiously. Example, she flaunted her new car at every opportunity. Flock. To gather in large numbers. Example, tourists flocked to the festival. Flounder. To struggle helplessly. Example, he floundered in his first year of college. Froth. To produce foam or be very angry. Example, he frothed at the mouth with rage. Gag. To choke or almost vomit. Example, the smell made her gag. Gargle. To rinse the throat with liquid. Example, she gargled with salt water. Grate. To irritate or shred on a grater. Example, his voice grated on her nerves. Grouch. To complain in a grumpy way. Example, he grouched about everything at breakfast. Gurgle. To make a bubbling liquid sound. Example, water gurgled down the drain. Ignite. To set on fire or excite strongly. Example, his speech ignited the crowd. Jolt. To give a sudden shock or shake. Example, the car jolted over the potholes. Jut. To stick out sharply. Example, a rock jutted from the cliff face. Muster. To gather or summon courage or troops. Example, she mustered the strength to go on. Nuzzle. To rub or push gently with the nose. Example, the horse nuzzled her hand. Pave. To cover a surface or prepare the way. Example, her work paved the way for others. Percolate. To filter through slowly or spread gradually. Example, new ideas percolated through the team. Pledge. To make a solemn promise. Example, he pledged to repay every cent. Pose. To present a question or problem. Example, the leak poses a serious health risk. Punt. To kick or delay a decision. Example, management punted the hard question. Radiate. To send out energy or qualities in all directions. Example, she radiated confidence in the interview. Razz. To tease or mock playfully. Example, friends razzied him about his new haircut. Reek. To smell very strongly and unpleasantly. Example, the room reeked of cigarette smoke. Ricochet. To bounce off a surface. Example, the bullet ricocheted off the wall. Roast. To cook in dry heat or mock harshly. Example, friends roasted him at his retirement party. Salivate. To produce saliva or desire eagerly. Example, he salivated at the menu. Saturate. To soak completely through. Example, rain saturated the ground. Scrimp. To be very careful with spending. Example, she scrimped to afford the deposit. Simmer. To cook gently or feel suppressed anger. Example, resentment simmered under the surface. Slander. To make false-spoken statements to damage. Example, he was sued for slandering his neighbor. Smear. To spread on a surface or damage reputation. Example, she smeared butter on the toast. Snare. To trap or catch. Example, the police snared the suspect. Snuffle. To breathe noisily through the nose. Example, the puppy snuffled at every corner. Soak. To make thoroughly wet. Example, he soaked the beans overnight. Splay. To spread out wide apart. Example, she splayed her fingers on the table. Spurt. To shoot out suddenly in a jet. Example, blood spurted from the wound. Strip. To remove all coverings or layers. Example, he stripped the old paint from the door. Strum. To play by running fingers over strings. Example, she strummed the guitar on the porch. Swarm. To move in large excited numbers. Example, bees swarmed around the hive. Swelter. To be uncomfortably hot. Example, workers sweltered in the summer heat. Swindle. To cheat someone out of money. Example, he swindled investors out of thousands. Tax. To strain or put heavy demands on. Example, the long hike taxed everyone's stamina. Thrill. To cause intense excitement. Example, the finale thrilled the entire audience. Thrum. To hum or vibrate with a low steady sound. Example, the engine thrummed quietly beneath them. Tug. To pull with a short sharp jerk. Example, she tugged at his sleeve to get his attention. Validate. To confirm or support as correct. Example, the results validated her hypothesis. Vaporize. To convert into vapor or destroy completely. Example, the explosion vaporized the building. Wallow. To indulge in unpleasant feelings. Example, he wallowed in self-pity for weeks. Wax. To grow or increase. Example, his confidence waxed with each success. Wrench. To twist or pull violently. Example, she wrenched the door open.